There was one rule every pilot in Europe believed in 1942. You do not win air superiority with a flying brick. You do not outclimb, outdive, or outfight the Luftwaffe's Bf-109s and FW-190s with something that weighs over 10,000 pounds empty, gulps fuel like a locomotive, and responds to the stick like a stubborn mule. For the experts, the truth felt unbreakable. Speed and agility win dogfights, not mass, not a jug. Even American pilots laughed when they first saw the P-47 Thunderbolt's bulk. Ground crews joked that if the wings ever fell off, the fuselage alone would taxi back home. German intelligence dismissed it outright, calling it the tractor. But in 1943, one man inside the 56th Fighter Group began proving that the joke was over, and that the Thunderbolt's weight, its bulk, its stubbornness, those were the very qualities that would terrify the Luftwaffe. And in that year, Francis Gabby Gabreski changed everything. Gabreski is 23 years old, the son of Polish immigrants, raised in Oil City, Pennsylvania. He grows up small, barely 5 feet 8, but with a fire that keeps getting him into trouble. He talks too fast, flies too aggressively, and refuses to accept limits. He barely squeaks into flight school, but once he's in the cockpit, something happens. He becomes precise, icy, calm, almost predatory. The Army Air Force is noticed. In early 1943, he joined the 56th Fighter Group, the legendary Wolfpack, under the equally legendary Hubert Zemke, and the timing could not be worse. The Allied bombing campaign is bleeding. B-17s die in rows. In a single mission, 60 bombers might go out and 10 never return. At 10 men per bomber, you lose 100 men before lunchtime, and every pilot knows why. The Americans cannot match the Luftwaffe in the air. The FW-198 dominates below 20,000 feet. The Bf-109G dominates above it. The Luftwaffe owns the vertical, and then the Americans hand Gabreski the keys to a brand new P-47. He sees the size, the weight, the arrogance of its design and grins. He senses something the others don't. This thing isn't a fighter, it's a weapon platform, but he will only prove it after entering a sky where hundreds have died. Flying a machine everyone dismisses, he climbs into the cockpit for his first high-altitude escort mission. The Luftwaffe is waiting. That is May 1943, 0830 hours. Altitude, 28,000 feet. Temperature, -40 degrees Fahrenheit. Your canopy rattles, your oxygen mask bites into your face. The massive Pratt & Whitney R2800 roars at 2,000 horsepower. Gabreski scans the sky, and then dots at 11 o'clock high. 708 FW-190S, diving from 31,000 feet. The German rule is simple. Attack from above, smash the bombers, escape downward. The American fighters can't keep up, but Gabreski pushes the throttle forward, and the brick does something no one expects. It climbs, not gracefully, not elegantly, but relentlessly. The turbo supercharger forces oxygen into the engine like a horsepower surges. The jug drags itself upward with brute force. The Germans miscalculate. They think he'll stall. They think he'll break off. He doesn't. 1,500 yards. The Germans commit. 1,200 yards. Gabreski closes. 900 yards. He toggles to fire. The 8.50-CALIBRE Thunder. Shell casings scatter like silver rain. A stream of fire rips into the lead 190's wing root. The German fighter explodes, breaking into 2 pieces. The rest panic and peel away too steeply. Gabreski chases the nearest one. Speed, 420 miles per hour. Altitude drop, 29,000 gives. 25,000 gives 22,000 feet in seconds. The German tries to shake him with a roll. Gabreski stays glued. The P-47's weight becomes an advantage. Momentum becomes a weapon. He fires again. A burst, another. The 190 smokes, flips and disappears into the cloud. But the fight is not over. More radar contacts. More German fighters vectoring in. Gabreski checks the fuel, checks ammo. He has 220 rounds per gun left, only enough for a few more passes. Across the sky, B-17s lumber forward, perfectly on schedule, perfectly vulnerable. And now, 30 plus 109s, rising in a spiral assault. This is where the old rule should hold. This is where the brick should die. Instead, he climbs again. It makes no aerodynamic sense. Every German pilot sees it. Der amerikanische Idiot, versagt wieder, Zeus. The American idiot tries to climb again, but they don't understand that air duadlapan no, they don't understand 52 inches of manifold pressure. They don't understand that the turbo supercharger turns thin air into dense power. Gabreski punches upward. The 109s overshoot. Their attack run shatters. He rolls right into their swarm. He picks the nearest target, lines it up, 700 yards, 500, 400. He fires. The 109 disintegrates into a spray of black fragments. German radio traffic erupts. Disbelief. Warnings shouted too late. And at 22 minutes into the fight, the Luftwaffe realizes they have a problem. The Thunderbolt is not a joke. It is a hammer. Gabreski regroups with his squadron. His oxygen is low. His ammo is down to 40 rounds per gun. And still, another wave rises. And this is the moment, the revelation that changes the war. The P-47 can dive faster than anything the Germans have. Gabreski demonstrates it now. He spots a 190 on a B-17's tail, pushes over into a near vertical dive, speed jumps, 350 miles per hour, gives, 420 gives, 475, 120 mph. German pilots had reported this once or twice. Americans, diving so fast they looked like falling stars, but command dismissed it as exaggeration. It wasn't. Gabreski's wings groan. The control stick shakes in his hand. The oxygen hose tugs at his mask. His vision narrows. He holds the dive, holds the shot, 300 yards, 200, 150. He fires one clean burst. The German fighters simply vaporise, and for a heartbeat, the sky goes quiet. Back in the fight, Gabreski loops upward, engine howling, and then disaster. A 109 drops behind him. Cannon shells detonate along his right wing. One more hit, and the wing will shear off. Gabreski kicks a full left rudder. The jug wallows. He dumps the throttle. The German overshoots, unable to slow down without stalling in the thin air. Gabreski surges behind him. He squeezes the trigger. Nothing. He's out of ammo. For 3 agonizing seconds, both men stare at each other through spinning canopies. The German dives for home. Gabreski lets him go. The battle ends not with a kill, but with something far more important. The Luftwaffe runs. They have never run from Thunderbolts before. What the Germans don't realize not yet is that this day marks the shift in air superiority over Western Europe. Intelligence intercepts reveal panic in the Luftwaffe. Reports from frontline German pilots call the P-47 unclimbable, indestructible, a monster at altitude. Within weeks, German commanders change tactics. FW-190 units are ordered not to engage P-47s above 25,000 feet. Bf-109 groups are told to avoid vertical chasers. New briefing sheets warn, do not dive with the Thunderbolts. What they didn't know was that the Americans were just getting started. As Gabreski's tally climbs 1, 5, 10, 20, 24 kills, the Luftwaffe bleeds out the veterans it cannot replace. The Thunderbolt's high-altitude dominance opens the skies for deeper bomber raids. The Luftwaffe's fuel depots are hit. Their synthetic plants are crippled. Their pilot training collapsed, and by spring 1944, the once feared German fighter arm is a shadow broken in part by an aircraft they mocked as a flying joke. Francis Gabby Gabreski ended the war with 28 confirmed air-to-air kills, the top American ace in the European theater. He is 25 years old. He returns home to Pennsylvania, marries the woman he wrote letters to between missions, and later serves in Korea, commanding the 51st Fighter Interceptor Wing. Many of the young men he led in the 56th Fighter Group never lived to see peace. They were 19, 20, 22 years old boys from Ohio, Texas, Massachusetts, California. Names like Robert Johnson, Walker Mahira, and Dave Schilling, pilots who turned the Jug into a legend. To this day, pilots who fly restored Thunderbolts say the same thing Gabreski once said: it looks like a joke until it flies. This story matters because arrogance kills and innovation often hides in unlikely places. The P-47 was ridiculed, dismissed, and written off. But in the hands of pilots who refused to accept the rule, it became the weapon that broke the Luftwaffe's back. If this story moved you, please hit that like button. Every click tells the algorithm this piece of history is worth remembering. We're dedicated to rescuing these forgotten stories from the archives. If you want to join us on this mission, please subscribe and turn on notifications. Where are you watching from? Drop a comment with your city or state, and tell us if someone in your family served.